Hello everybody, Houston here. I hope you guys are doing well, having a great day or a great night. And before jumping into the charts, don't forget to smash the like button, share with your friends, and subscribe as well. So this is going to be a different video, a macro perspective, and we are going to acknowledge the latest events about the trial, something that we were waiting for. And at this point, it is fair to say that it won't happen now. So we were expecting a settlement, but that's what we were expecting, what we wanted. We knew that we have this risk of a later resolution, the outcome of all this whole situation before we can see new all-time highs. And so we know there is a bigger agenda behind all of this. We know it by a matter of fact. So we were trying to figure out a possible time frame of those events that could lead XRP to new highs. So that's what we are going to talk about here as well. And I'm going to show you something about patterns that we are going to see in the coming months in the wrong way, but we are also are going to acknowledge the right perspective. And so these lines, these bars you guys can see is the season's pivot. Something that I talked about a long time ago. I already explained it. It's a tool that I developed back in the day. I also used this one on the December 19. I don't know if you guys remember, but I call it the stocks crash on December 19, 2 months in advance, and I used the same method as well. So let's start. So let's take a look on the bigger picture, then we are going to talk about the events, and then we jump into the four. By the way, I'm not interested in the short-term price or behavior. It is fair to say at this point today, that the bulls have no interest to keep going from here. And perhaps one of the reasons it's because the judge granted 60 days deadline to SEC. It doesn't mean they are going to make a deal by the end of the 60 days, or it doesn't mean they can't find or make a deal before the deadline. Okay, there is a possible scenario here, and why I'm saying it is possible. So just for guys to have an idea on what I'm looking for here, just a second. Here. So why am I acknowledging these two guys here on 2022? Because we know there is a later date around March, if I'm not wrong, which is going to be close to a judge decision. If there is no deal, no settlement, whatever. So again, October, if there is no deal, this thing will keep going. And by the end of the year, nothing will happen. And on early 2022, maybe we can expect regulations on the first quarter. And also we know the SEC shared news, they are not going to, get involved into regulations this year, which is at this point is kind of expected after all this mess they made. But so, one step at a time, let's go here. Let's start from the past. So here on the past, we didn't have any of this external events, right? It was all about speculation, XRP, crypto market going up, the craziness. But, and also we talk about this back in the day, explaining to people why XRP is in a bullish trend. That this whole structure here, it's a poor, but it's still a macro bullish structure, which led us to a bull market, not a bear market. And it's fascinating that a lot of people were saying this was a bear market. And by a matter of fact, it wasn't. right? So we have to always acknowledge the bigger picture of things to understand the whole nature. Otherwise, you know, just like people making calls about 6 cents, 20 cents out of the blue, you know, nonsense. So again, here we had the macro bull, which played out. Okay, no news, nothing special, all great. But this structure here, it's a macro bull as well. And after the news about the 60 days deadline, we know the chances for a solo, why solo? XRP making a solo move against everything else from here, it's very, very unlikely. And so far, with everything we know, doesn't make any sense to make this call right now. It's kind of nonsense, okay? Uh, on the Elliott perspective, when we look here in the past, we had a full but not crystal clear Elliott pattern. And here we also have one which is ahead of the 50%, but is not completed yet. And the direction here will be sideways, okay? So I saw many people doing something like this, things like this. So it's kind of craziness, you know, it's just mind-blowing stuff. But yeah, so, excuse me. So the seasons pivot here. So this is something that I look back in the day when I was making this research and etc. And we can see there is a lot of bullish interest around some of these seasons. For example, we know winter and spring is bullish, right? So we saw this many times on Ethereum, Bitcoin, XRP, and it is great for crypto. And now here, now let's talk about what we have so far and maybe what we can expect. There is not a lot of things for us to talk about here because again, we are at the 50%. So daily updates or weekly updates are going to be meaningless. Okay, not significant at all. It is just going to be waste of energy, you know, watching the chart over and over and over and expecting something that is not going to happen now. Even Flare, I strongly believe Flare are not going to have any power over XRP. It's very, very unlikely because XRP is the big boss, not Flare. Okay, so this is the fact. And in my opinion, my humble opinion, XRP is going to drive things crazy, not Flare. Flare will be pushed together. So, just a second. Right here. October. So the black bar is the new deadline on the trial. Just a moment. Okay. And if I'm not wrong, the other one will be around March. Over here. So this is February, early March. Okay. So the other bars are the seasons pivot. The black ones are the trial. Okay, events related to the trial. And right in between, we have the winter pivot, which stands for December, Yule Festival, things that we already talked about, very, very significant. And yeah, so now, well, you guys can pause the video right now or take a look again later, okay? So I will take out some of the pivots. Otherwise, this thing is going to be somewhat chaotic. Just a second. Okay. So what's the next one that we have is the summer. The summer is cool, is great. That sometimes there is bullish activity around it, but right after what we have the harvest season, which is called the harvest season for a reason, right? So, and this is ancient knowledge. This is happening since the early days in human history. That's one of the reasons we have this name for it. And in the whole history of markets and trading and investing, etc., it has always been a bad period of time. Okay, so again, the harvest season, not only for the fields, you know. And so we are talking about this. I made 2 videos about this back in the day. I don't remember the year, but yeah. So now let's bring the pattern and what we can expect, because I believe these 2 pivots here are very strong and they are not going to break, not even close, not even close. Another thing, so let me take out these guys here for a moment. Okay, so this is a very easy way to look at things using Fibonacci. Okay, nothing special about this. It's a retracement tool. I'm not going to bring the other stuff right now, the other Fibonacci, because there is a different way. So just a second here. Okay, so one step at a time. Okay, otherwise some people can get confused and a lot of things to talk about. So first, the retracement tool right here. And what I believe, how this is going to unfold is like this. So for example, in a previous video, I showed you guys the way to use the axis, one for time and one for price. So for example, right here, let's go from here. Let's use this guy right here from the previous pivot. Just a second. I will move the line forward to invalidate ideas that will pop. And this one right here is price. Yes. So what's the point here? We are measuring, just a second. So first thing, this guy and this guy here. Okay, that's the math of the things we start with. And again, one is for time and the other is for price. Just a moment. Okay. So with the recent news on the 60 days deadline, I believe, so just talking about this, but just to make sure, I strongly believe the magic won't happen from here. So what we were expecting for a settlement or something like this. And so this structure right here, I'm still not convinced. I'm still bearish on the short time frame. When we talk about short time frame, we are talking about a small period of time. We don't know how much because it's soon, it is still developing, it's not there yet. So short period of time, okay? So that's why I'm not interested, and I still believe this is bearish so far, not bullish. So in other words, you can ask me if I'm expecting more downside. Yes. and it's probably going to be the one I talked about before, around 43 cents. That's my expectation. I still don't have technical evidence for such. So, what we are going to see soon. This is what we are going to see very, very soon. And I'm going to explain why it is wrong and why it is not going to happen. So first of things, there is no validation for this. So you see, we have a single point here, a single one, right? And we know we need at least 1, 2, and 3 far away from each other. There are a few guys, if I'm not wrong, it's a very popular guy, but his TA knowledge and analysis mostly came from Investopedia, which is something that have great info, but also have a lot of garbage. So for example, anyone who say this is accurate, it's wrong. And why it's wrong? Because two guys close to each other, they don't make waves. Okay, so if the guy doesn't know how to properly acknowledge or read Elliott waves, then the whole thing will be wrong. Okay, so trying to do this is wrong. Okay, not going to work. That's not how we measure. It's not there. So for the other one, so for the other one, it just a second, folks. Hold on, just a second, please. Okay, so this line right here, the one down below, is still all about speculation, nothing else. Okay, nothing new, and etc. So we must wait to properly place it. Okay, so far it's all speculation, not a big deal. The upper line is still reliable. And now I'm going to show you why that's not how this is going to happen. Because people are going to draw such lines and expect this. Why? Well, the first reason, it's because they don't know how to look at the Elliott properly. Secondly, why they draw the lines and expect the thing to happen? Because when people doesn't know how to read structures, what they are going to do, they are going to place the lines, make them close as possible to each other, and then they will expect the behavior inside because they rely on their memory. They remember charts that they saw before, lines that they made before, things that they talked about or acknowledged before, and play it out. So it's like, oh, because it happened in the past, it is going to happen this way in the future. That's the cycle bullshit. You guys are familiar with it. And yeah. So why it is not going to happen this way? Because when we look at on time, so this started on at the very top, which was 2018. This whole thing, the time frame of this event, would last 7 years, maybe plus. Okay, so I never ever seen a 7 years pattern on crypto. Okay, that are on stocks, if I'm not wrong, in a few of them, not all of them, just a few ones. But stocks has a different mechanics, just like Forex and just like cryptocurrencies or crypto assets. So it is not going to happen this way. Also, we have to acknowledge something that I called in advance back in the day before this XRP move right here, and also this one right here, which was the increase in the interest raising about XRP. So more people engaged, more people talking about XRP, more news, etc., trading, and so on. So this is kind of a behavior that is increasing and not decreasing. So this pattern would only happen if we had a strong decline in all activity. Okay, so again, patterns are related to human behavior, expectations, fear, anxiety, smart money, behavior, activity, and many other things. So the chances for such scenario like this to play out close to 7 years is almost none, nothing, close to zero, okay? So how the way I see this possibly happening is like this. So we have this first structure here, okay? That this whole structure solo doesn't make a wave when we look into small time frames. Okay, so this is the key to knowledge. So we have a failed bullish rally right here. That's one of the reasons I strongly believe the chances for bullish development here, for a strong losers rally, which is a dead cat bounce, some people call it, I believe it's very, very unlikely, but can happen. So why I think it is unlikely? Because here we have bearish behavior. So every time there is bearish behavior, I won't expect a bull. When there is bullish behavior, I won't expect a bear. That's the nature of patterns. That's how we read the things. That's how it works. It is not 100% accurate, but is the best method out there. So let's try to acknowledge both scenarios. What we want to understand here, it's a possible time frame of events, right? So let's say on the scenario A, the order doesn't make it more relevant or irrelevant. So let's say we go up from here for a lower high, and then we will be close to the autumn or the harvest season. And then let's say we drop to 43 cents. I make this better, just a second. We go up, strong lower high, then we fall. Just a second, let me see if I can do this better. Okay, and then we fall on the harvest season. We know again that the winter pivot is most of the times bullish. There is not a single 100% thing on the markets. Okay, methods, patterns, tools, there is always margin for error, okay, and not human error. It's just, it can be like external events playing out or new things, new info, whatever. So there is not a single 100% thing. And so then let's say we end up with something like this, and then we go up, which is most likely we'll go not this way. Sorry, just a second. So this will be March. Yeah, so scenario A, right? So we go down, we stop on the winter pivot, then we go down, and then bang. So this is a possible scenario A. Now let's say, again, folks, remember we are speculating here. This is all about speculation because we don't have anything clear so far. We don't, okay? I remember in a previous video, I acknowledged a scenario, I don't even remember. Oh, it was something like this. It was just an example. Imagine. I don't even remember. Oh, it was something like this. I said, even if we descend it will still be bullish. Just example. And then a guy rushed to say, whoa, you are clueless, saying XRP is going to 3 cents. So some people are so deep into anxiety, fear, emotions, lack of understanding, they can hear things properly. They will just rush into the things, oh, you're calling this, you're saying that. No, no, no. Speculating about things that are not clear. Just an idea. As long as we keep going, patterns will be developing. Then we will look into the things to have a better understanding. That's why I always say one step at a time. Okay. Oh, and also some people complaining about the videos being too long. Folks, this is technical analysis. This is not a TV show. Okay, things are complex. They are bigger. There's a lot of things involved, a lot of fundamentals. It is not possible to make quick videos breaking down so many things. So now let's talk about a possible scenario B, which is the one that I'm still expecting. It's not, I don't have technical evidence so far. Not complete, I mean. So bear break from here, 43. Just a second. Okay, so close to it. And then we ascend a little bit. Then the harvest, we go down a little bit again. Then we are going to have probably most likely bullish news from the documents the SEC is going to to bring, which we know is a complete circus, right? It's a complete show. So they are just trying to buy some time. This is crystal clear at this point. And then we ascend. Okay, or we keep trading somewhat inside till December, and then we ascend big time for another lower high. And then we go up a little bit, we will enter what? The spring season or the spring pivot. And also it is going to be probably, if I'm not wrong, the very last session before the judge decide the fate of the whole thing. And this, folks, looking at the pattern, price behavior, all those things, I strongly believe that we are going to end up again with another strong, very strong bullish pattern, which is going to make the things easier, crystal clear. And so if this happens this way, we will have two big opportunities to buy. And probably the last ones, right? Because to have new lows from all those guys, it's very, very unlikely. The chances to play out are close to none. Remember, these are the previous lows. So this one can be broken, but the other two are very, very unlikely. Remember, a bullish trend is made by strong higher lows. Okay? Even if they are close, but it still go. Still higher lows, it's still bullish, it's still a bull market. So there is no evidence for big bears in control. So if we follow speculation here, just a second. So again, we are speculating. There is no problem with these guys here to be inside the line, no problem at all. And why? Because we know it is just another higher low. I mean, the first one, right? And why there is no problem here? Because the lines are just a representation of what we can see. So for example, I can read and write Elliott waves, all of them, even without a keyboard and the mouse, just by looking at the whole thing. So when we have the knowledge, we don't need the tools, okay? So the lines are just a representation of something that is happening. So if we end with this scenario, then there won't be any coming back. And remember, just a second. This pattern was big, very, very big, very macro thing, bullish thing. And the outcome was insane, right? Blasted the roof. Now imagine this one. So here we are talking about 2014, 3 years, close to 3 years. This one, 18, and 2022 is going to be a 5 years old macro bullish pattern. As long as things keep going, they keep building pressure following the trend, okay? So it's impossible to reach this scenario because when we get close, people will be calling for this. Oh, XRP is going to 0, XRP is going to 1 cent, or you know, this is it. That's how it is going to happen. And so also another thing, all those people with expectations about targets, you know, $13, 15, 20, they are all going to be left behind. And why? Because they have no clue about market growth, market expansion, the rules for it to happen, bullish continuations, etc., etc., and etc. So, second. Again, if this scenario plays out, it is going to be fantastic. If something different develops, there is no problem at all because we know it's a bull market, it's a bullish trend, and it is not going to change. So again, let's say we end up with something like this. No problem at all. So then we will place the line. Then, only then. And again, these three guys here doesn't make a wave or validation. It will still be a speculation, okay? So possible scenarios, different outcomes. We are only 50% in the game. We still need more room to have a better understanding. But all we know is that probably we are not going to see moon before clarity, also on the trial. And yeah, so the trial resolution, because XRP is going to be deemed the only crypto asset fully regulated. And I bet my shoes right after we are going to see many insane news. For example, the partnership between Ripple and Bank of America, big institutions using Ripple Cloud, Ripple Network, XRP for settlement, etc., etc., and etc. And again, remember this. Right now, XRP is following Bitcoin in a very poor way. So let's take a look just for a second here because we were talking about the 4. So this development right here, in my humble opinion, it's bearish. It's not bullish at all. Why? We still have a flat floor, decreasing activity, and this is not bullish, even though it is possible to find a minor bull break here, but only if Bitcoin plays out as well. And Bitcoin, just for you guys to have an idea, This is what we have on macro for Bitcoin. A macro bearish pattern. Right now, Bitcoin is around here. So this is a big head and shoulders. And here we had another bearish pattern. But, big but, even if Bitcoin is able to keep going, this can end up in what? A loser's rally, which is what? A golden rejection or a golden lower high. That's always how every top breaks. There is always what people call dead cat bounce or whatever, loser's rally. So that's how it's every time it starts, okay? So that's one of the reasons, I believe XRP is not bullish here, okay, here, and because she is following Bitcoin. So it would be very, very responsible from my side to make analysis on XRP and not acknowledge Bitcoin, because XRP is following Bitcoin. So we have to acknowledge Bitcoin as well. Otherwise, we are going to fail miserably, okay? So folks, this is it for now. Again, in my humble opinion, it's meaningless, pointless to keep looking at short time frame action on XRP. I'm not putting my money in the market right now. I'm waiting. And also something that it's not concerned, is expecting, okay? It's the harvest season, okay? I made a lot of money all those years by shorting the markets on the harvest season, not by longing. And that's one of the ways I could speed up my retirement. So not a time to buy for me. Okay, so this is my opinion. This is not financial advice. You guys know the drill. And yeah, so this is it for now. If I see something different, something special, something new, I am going to share. Also, forgive me by my absence. I've been very, very busy. And soon I'm going to make a kind of lifetime call. It's going to be a life achievement for me. I believe I am almost 100% sure about how markets are going to play out soon. And probably in the coming days, I will make a video about it. Okay. So folks, thanks again. Thanks for your time, your patience, your support as well. And don't forget to smash the like button and share with your friends as well. Thanks again and see ya.